What's up guys, my name is Ace, and this week's weekly challenges in Modern Warfare 3 will unlock the Sledgehammer melee weapon. And in today's video, we're going to be doing a full breakdown and comparison with the other melee weapons to see how it stacks up, since it does have very unique stats. And let's just dive right into this. With the Sledgehammer in core game modes in multiplayer, it will be a one-hit kill, so it's dealing at least 150 damage. Next, one of the biggest downsides of the Sledgehammer is it has a very long pre-hit delay. So this means when you actually press the button to hit the enemy player with the Sledgehammer, it's going to take you 650 milliseconds from the moment you press that button to the moment that that player gets hit. And keep in mind, most of the other melee weapons are right around the 250 millisecond mark. And a big thing to also keep in mind is up close and personal, the average time to kill in this game for guns falls somewhere around 300 milliseconds if we're averaging out various weapon classes. And as a result, many guns are capable of killing you at least 2 times over before your Sledgehammer actually hits them. And it's not like you're locking them into an animation at this point. That's just how long it takes for your lunge to take place. So that is the one big counter to the Sledgehammer, is if the enemy's on point and ready for you, they're able to kill you before you're able to actually hit them with that hammer. Then taking a look at our swipe speed for 2 consecutive hits. This doesn't really apply to a single player since it's always a one-hit kill against them, but if you have 2 enemy players side by side, how long does it take to kill both of them in quick succession? Well, once again, this is another area where the Sledgehammer doesn't really excel. It's 830 milliseconds, which is the slowest out of all of the melee weapons. So again, there's another downside, and it might be looking kind of bad for the Sledgehammer. However, the upsides to this are pretty insane. When it comes to our lunge range on this, it's 5.3 meters. This is nearly double the lunge range of the next best melee weapon, which is the Tonfa, which is also a 2-hit kill. And it's pretty insane. You just have to get within 5.3 meters, and you're going to be lunging and kind of locking onto your target as well as you're lunging toward them. However, it is worth noting with this, when you're at that maximum lunge range, our maximum hit angle is just 25 degrees, whereas most of the other melee weapons are either 30 or 35 degrees. And this means you can only be up to 25 degrees off target for that lunge to actually take place. So you have to be a bit more precise with your aim with this. But as long as you are, you're going to be lunging super, super far. So with all of that in mind, you can see that the Sledgehammer is very clearly a unique melee weapon in this game. Many of the other melee weapons, they're basically the same thing, but they just adjust a couple values here or there. That's not really the case with this one. It's really unique. And honestly, with that insane lunge range, I thought there would be more downsides to this, like slower movement speeds compared to the other melee weapons. So let's move on to our movement speeds. And when it comes to our base movement speed, it's pretty standard for a Modern Warfare 3 melee weapon at 5.2 meters per second. Then when it comes to our sprint speed, this is also not out of the ordinary at all for a melee weapon at 6.76 meters per second. This is a very solid sprint speed and allows you to get around the map very quickly. And it's the same story with our tactical sprint speed. This is very good at 8.21 meters per second. Not really a standout in the Modern Warfare 3 melee category, but I mean, they're all quite good aside from the soul render. And honestly, I was a little surprised to see this. I thought the movement speeds would be noticeably slower with the Sledgehammer, partially since it has such an insane lunge range that would just be another method of sort of keeping it in check so it doesn't become the best overall. But then also, just from a logical standpoint, you would think lugging around a Sledgehammer should make you move a whole lot slower than a karambit or a gutter knife. I know the realism argument doesn't necessarily need to come into the balancing argument, but at the same time, there's typically an expectation where you have something heavy and bulky in your hands, like an LMG, for instance, or in this case, a Sledgehammer. There's sort of that automatic expectation that you're going to be moving a little slower. So there we go. That's going to wrap it up for the full breakdown of the Sledgehammer melee weapon in Modern Warfare 3. And in general, I've got to say, this is quite a powerful melee weapon, especially with that insane lunge range. You can get some pretty crazy kills. However, it is at least somewhat kept in check by the fact that it has a very slow pre-hit delay. So if somebody is really quick on the draw and they're getting shots on you really quickly, they can kill you before you can hit them. Or if they're using a shotgun, for instance, a one-shot kill shotgun, that will often counter this very easily because all they have to do is get that one shot off before 650 milliseconds, which typically they're capable of doing. So I do think those 2 factors keep the Sledgehammer in check nicely. Although, again, I was a little surprised to see the mobility is very good with this as well and comparable to a standard combat knife. Now, of course, these are just my thoughts on the Sledgehammer, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about this in those comments down below. Do you guys like the addition of the Sledgehammer? Do you think it's balanced well compared to the other melee weapons, or not so much? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.